Alright guys out there on YouTube, I'm going to try to make a little kids table, a little farmhouse table, whatever you want to call it. The table is going to be 23 inches wide by 3 foot long, 2 foot tall. And I'm going to make 2 stools with it. They're going to be 2 foot long by a foot wide. They're going to be 14 inches tall. And I might make some chairs later on, but I ain't going to make the chairs right away. That might be later. I might make another video on that later. But my cut list for the table, I got 2 2x4s that are 23¼ inches long. That's going to be for the legs. I'm going to cut the 2x4s in half. And I got 2 1x3s. They're 17 inches long. I got 2 more 1x3s that are 30 inches long. And I got 4 1x6s 3 foot long. That's going to be for the tabletop. And then for the stools, I got 4 2x4s 13¼ inches long. I'm going to cut those in half also and make 2x2s. And those are going to be the legs for the stools. And then I got 4 1x3s 7 inches long, and I got 4 more 1x3s that are 19 inches long. Those are going to be to connect all the legs together. And I'm not sure what I'm going to use for the stool seat yet. I'll let you guys know after I figure out what I'm going to use, and I'll add those measurements to the list and show you guys the list. But it's pretty much I'm going to be using chop saw, table saw right there, and a drill, and that's just about it really. Some squares and stuff. And here's my lumber. I got those 1x6s. I got some 2x4s. I'm gonna make 2x2s out of them. And I got that 1x3 right there. I got a 2x2 right there that's already cut. I may use that too as well. But yeah, I'll go ahead and get all this stuff cut and get started on it. You guys can just follow along there. Put you on fast motion. First thing I'm going to do is square up these ends on these 2x4s. Alright guys, that's all the wood cut, or well, that's all the stuff cut for the table right there, all the wood, all the lumber, so except for the legs. We got those cut to length, but we need to rip them 2x4s in half on the table saw here. We'll set it up, get ready, saw those, and you guys can watch me do that. I'll set you guys over here. Move some of my junk. Alright guys, there's the legs to the table. I'll go ahead and start drilling my holes for these. I got a Craig hole jig for these boards here that I'm going to use. There's the jig, what it looks like. It's very nice. It makes it look a lot more professional, I think, in my opinion, because, you know, you kind of hide the screws, I guess, whatever you would say. But I'll get ready and drill those, and then we'll get started on putting everything together. Guys, got everything drilled now. Let's see if I can start putting it all together with some screws, see how it looks. Alright guys, there it is. There's the table frame so far. I'm going to put the top on there and just kind of look at it for a minute. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to put it on there. Alright guys, there it is so far. I'm gonna do some sanding on it. Then I might stain the top of it and paint the legs and stuff of it. But there it is so far, what it's looking like. That's about it. Alright guys, there's the table all sanded down. I sanded the edges real good so there isn't no sharp spots on the corners. I sanded all those, the legs, all that. I sanded those down. Sanded the edges on the legs, made those nice and smooth, round. Everything's pretty much smooth, sanded down. So now we're going to get started on making the benches. I'm going to start cutting the benches. For the bench tops, I'm just going to use some more. I got some tongue and groove 1x6s. I'm just going to cut the tongue and grooves off of the 1x6s, the pine boards, and those are going to be my tops for my benches. That was the top for the table too, was just tongue and groove. The tongue and grooves was cut off of them on the table saw, and I use those for my tabletop. That's what I'm going to use for my bench too. I'm just going to flip them, and that'll be the smooth side will be the seat. But that's about it. I'm going to cut those. Those are going to be 2 foot long, and they'll be about 6 inches wide. So I'll add that measurement. I need 4 of those 1x6s, and they'll be just 2 foot long. And there's the list of everything I'm going to be cutting if anybody needs it, so they can copy it and write it down if you guys want to build it, or just make up your own measurements so you can make it bigger or smaller. Just pretty simple. But I'll get started on cutting all the wood and everything for the benches. I'll set you guys up right here. Alright guys, there's the lumber cut for the stools, or the little benches. I'm going to go ahead and drill some holes in those, some pocket holes in those 1x3s right there. And then I want to start putting everything together. Alright guys, there's the bench frames. I was using that plywood to set the 1x3s on, so that way it pretty much almost centers the 1x3 on the 2x2s. So it just makes it a little bit easier for me. I mean, if you have a nice table or something, you could put it on and rig something else up. It'd work for you, work a little bit better, and so be it. But that's the frames, and now I'm gonna get started on putting the tops on those benches, and then I'll do some sanding on it. Actually, I might do some sanding. Yeah, I think I'll just go ahead and put the tops on the benches right there, and then I'll sand it later. Alright guys, there's the benches, the table, there's the other bench. I'm going to start sanding the benches, and then we'll probably start staining and painting them. Alright guys, there's the tables. The table stained and the benches stained, and I put polyurethane on the benches and 2 coats on the table so far. I'll probably put a few more coats on the benches and maybe some more coats on the table. Then I'm going to paint the legs and everything white, and that's going to be about it. I probably won't take a video of me painting the tables. So there's what they look like, everything built and stained. No, there's the polyurethane I used, and I think that's the stain that I used. Walnut. Don't buy a Craftsman belt sander. I had this sander just not very long. I'd say not even a year. And I haven't used it a whole lot, and it burned up on me yesterday when I was sanding with it. Junk. But yeah, that's about it. Everything on these table and benches was wood that was reused. The 2x4s, they were reused. And the tongue and groove 1x6s, they were reused. The 1x3s weren't reused. Those was new, but it was just what I had laying around the garage, so I went ahead and used them on the table. But yeah, that's about it. I'll show you guys this little cut just for whoever wants to see that again, in case you guys might want to try to build a table or copy the measurements down or something like that. Or you can add to them or subtract from them, make a bigger or smaller table and some bigger or smaller benches. But that's about it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Like and subscribe. Watch the next one. Thanks.